Uh, Radio Shaman. I'm a big Mudshark fan, but I got to admit, Cumia sounded good. I think they're prepping him to be the next Rush Limbaugh. All right, let's just get into that. I was going to wait, but let's get into it because it's hot news in our shitverse. People are talking. Everyone was sitting around the radio yesterday, families. Carl from Rochester, Steel Toe was all over it. Even though Anthony hates Steel Toe, he's still his idol and he's all in with. Anyways, we'll get to that, by the way. So Cumia had his big AM radio return. And we sniped it over on Kevin's Rumble channel. It was odd, but it was a fun thing to do. And if you guys want to clip this, that's great too. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be completely fair. This is not biased. This is not personal. Because the problem with this world and the shitverse is people, they pile on for views, they pile on for profit, and they don't really give you a fair assessment. They're thinking about the views, the profit. They want to feel like they're in crowd. Super chatters are like that too. You know, Melton likes to shame super chatters, so they won't super chat anymore. And I think it's stupid. You can do whatever you want to any show. That's fine. Whatever you like, you like. I'll never do that. Go over there and give Melton thousands of dollars. I can give a fuck. Or give Steel Toe anything. But everybody wants to feel like they belong. They want to feel they're a part of something, a community. They want to be on the right side of things, not just online, but in life. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you want to be a part of it. I've always been the solo Long Wolf McQuaid Bobo Fett guy. I don't care. Don't care. I'll always give you my opinion, even if it's unpopular, even if it's a strike against me, even if it pisses off Ms. Tay, even if it pisses off Doodle. There's a lot of things I'll say that you don't see eye to eye on, and that's fine. You're allowed to think what you want and believe what you want. But if you get pressured in to something like the Orange, who met me, we were cool, being a very nice guy, but the pressure from his peers in the WATP community, the chat, made him run away. He's like, I can't handle this. He stood up dead full when they said they were going to plan a trip coming down to Florida. I think it's sad. But anyways, my point being, let's get back to Anthony Cumia. So even though the show's called Cumia's Cucks, and I know Carl and WATP say he needs to go after Cumia like Chad does when he told Opie the advice. I don't go after Cumia. I take jabs here and there like he does. This show's more about the ball washers of Cumia, the guys that suck his dick, where they say Anthony will do no wrong. They won't call him out for his bullshit and nonsense like I do. So what I'm about to do is give you my honest review of Anthony Cumia, the broadcaster from yesterday, and what I think's going to happen. This is coming from an honest place. I'm not trying to gain new fans with this. I'm not trying to make Anthony like me. I'm just telling you what I think, a fair assessment. You heard some of it on MLC yesterday. But basically, from what I listened to, from growing up listening to radio, being on radio, as you know, I was a Howard Stern fan. I listened to him on 98.5 WNCX in Cleveland, and it was a big deal. Artie Lang was a hero of mine. And I got to be honest, I wasn't a big O&A guy at all. They were on 92.3 in Cleveland, and I didn't really listen to them. I got to be honest with you. When I started listening to O&A, when I first started listening to O&A is when I remember, totally remember. It was right when Patrice O'Neal did the Charlie Sheen roast. Do you remember the infamous Charlie Sheen roast where Patrice threw away his notes and just went off the cuff and killed? That's when I started listening to OA, right around that time. I would tune in. I was paying attention. I was friends with Norton. Norton did my show back in 2010, came in studio before he filmed a special in Cleveland. So I've known Norton for a long time, big Norton fan. But I wasn't really familiar with it. I would listen from time to time here and there. And then after the Patrice thing, and then Patrice died, I would tune in every now and then, especially if they had good guests on. And I started to become a fan. I was late to the game with O&A. I'm just telling you my origin story, the way Anthony told his origin story to his fans yesterday. So we listened to it, and I have a lot of thoughts on this. A lot of thoughts. By the way, I'm not in the free chat today at all. So whatever's going on in there, it could be the Wild West. You could say my mom's a whore. Have fun. If you want to get in touch with me, you got to go in the next column. That's just what it is. So I listened to it. Anthony seemed a little nervous. Okay, I understand. He hasn't been on terrestrial radio in 15 years. And he gave his backstory about how he was a shock jock, this, that. And then he started coming after YouTubers and super chatters. And I'm going to get into that in 2 seconds. Because I have a lot of thoughts if you care to listen. If not, go listen to Melton. I don't care. Or get a membership and come back and listen later on. So he tells this backstory, which was not necessary. We all know Anthony Cumia's story. He's written 2 books about it. He's talked about it on countless podcasts, his show. We don't need to know the origin story of Anthony Cumia and how he got into radio or O&A. We know all the stories. All of us do. Even if you're a casual fan, we know. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't think Anthony would disagree, Sunday nights is a terrible time to be on radio. It's just not a good time. That's where they stick nobodies. I think I heard a clip of Carl saying, yeah, I would go on Sunday night radio because I'm a nobody or something. I'm paraphrasing. So, and I understand he says, get his feet wet, get it figured out to show that he's a good boy. Okay, I get that. I totally get that. Almost like an open mic tryout audition, if you will. Figure it out. Okay, I'm all over the place with these thoughts, so let me just try to get honed in on here. So Anthony is doing a show, and it looks like he's playing a good boy for management. But here's the thing. He is on AM radio, and I'm just being honest. I know everyone's trying to make this a big deal. He's back after 15 years. He's back in New York radio. And I'm saying this, and I'm sorry for the ball washers of Cumia. I really am. Radio's not a big deal anymore. It's just not. I don't care what anyone says. Listen, I think about radio in the past, growing up listening to Stern. It was a great time. It was a great time, and it was a thing at one point. Oh, it's undeniable. Opie and Anthony were huge. It's undeniable. Opie and Anthony had a huge name in radio. We all know. We all know who these people are. But the fact of the matter is, it's 2025. There's video evidence of Anthony saying countless times, terrestrial radio is dead. It's dead. When Opie was trying to get a job, it's dead. It's going backwards. When Aaron Emholt was saying, I'm going back to terrestrial radio, Melton making fun of him, Carl making fun of him. But now Anthony Cumia is back on terrestrial radio. It's the cool thing now. He's uncanceled. But it's AM radio in 2025. Most cars don't have AM radio anymore. That's a fact. Look it up. They don't. This younger generation does not listen to the radio. They don't. It's old people, truckers, and tweakers, and weirdos at this point. And I would bet money, any amount of money, the audience Anthony was playing to was 90% his yesterday on the radio. They're the ones that downloaded the app. They're the ones that listened out of curiosity like we did. And they're going to listen to that first show. We're all going to listen. We're curious. What's going on? How's this going to play out? What's it going to sound like? So there was no need for the backstory. There was no need for any of that because he's just talking to his audience. These are Anthony Cumia fans that he's collected over the years through O&A, through Joe Rogan's podcast, through his own network, for him going other podcasts. This is just a collection of Anthony Cumia fans that he's talking to. Anthony's broadcasting like there's a whole new audience out there. There's new people, and he's going to get these new fans. I'm willing to bet with AM radio on a Sunday night, 90% of those people listening were already his fans. There's no new people that are going to like, you know what? I like this Anthony Cumia guy. I like the cut of his jib. Yeah, I agree. I agree with back in my day. Back in my day, TV was better. Back in my day, movies were better. I don't like this new school and this YouTube and this super chats. Radio. And it was a thing. And this isn't me being a hater. It's 2025. Radio's dead. I'm sorry. It is. It's just dead, man. I mean, we can all romanticize that this is going to be something big. And I know Anthony's thinking that way. And I got a lot of examples. I got my mind in a million different directions, and I'm breaking it down fairly. Okay, so let's just hypothetically think, okay, they're trying out Anthony. They're working him in, breaking off the rust, doing whatever they're doing, trying to figure out a show, where it's going. Okay, say he gets middays on this channel. I forgot the name of it already, the New York channel. And they're syndicated. Okay, cool. But you're competing with the internet. This is the internet, man. It's bigger. It's broader. Do you think Miss Tay in Australia is listening? Do you think Eva overseas is listening to terrestrial radio? They're not. They're watching YouTube. Look at all these terrestrial radio shows right now. Every one of them. Mike Calta down here in Tampa. Bob and Tom. Preston and Steve. The Breakfast Club. They're all on YouTube. It's a visual medium now. Now, I still listen to audio. And if you get YouTube Premium, you can listen to YouTube stuff while you're at the gym or while you're riding your bike. You don't have to watch the video. That's what I do. There has to be a video component to this now. It's just what it is. It's the game we're in. I know people that listen to my show audio only, and that's great. Good. Me too. I get it. But the show Anthony did yesterday, he could have done on YouTube to a bigger audience. He could have. And I got receipts. Anthony Cumia did a live 2 months ago on his YouTube channel, which is healthy. Rather healthy. His Compound Media channel has 156,000 subscribers, which is probably, well, I'm not even going to say probably, they're all real. Unlike Chrissy Mayer, they're all real. They're real. Hey, stay with me, guys. I don't know what the free chat's talking about. Stay with me on this. I got a point. So let's go to Anthony's YouTube page right now. Compound Media. Subscribe. Why not? This is the show I was talking about. Where is it at? Live. Here it is. Boom. He did a 5-hour, almost 6-hour show, 5.5 hours. He got 87,000 people to tune in to his first live, where he did a broadcast followed by video game playing. Someone brought it to my attention. Hold on.
Hey, look at that.
Sorry about this. So he's got chapters here. He did his intro. I'm back. Oop. He's talking about his YouTube suspension, Vlad TV. He's doing segments like a radio show. Guilt by association, Friends, You'll Be Shunned, You Peaked, Satellite Radio, Racism, Rich Voss. Anyways, he tried out doing the YouTube super chat show like all of us are doing. Shuli, Carl, Melton, we're all doing it. Steel Toe. And from what I understand, and I could be wrong on the money, but according to my sources, and I said yesterday on Kevin's show, he made over $2,000. Somebody told me he made close to $4,000 in super chats. That's pretty fucking good. That's really good. On YouTube, a visual medium. And then he never did a show again, a live show again. Why? Why wouldn't you keep that going? You started Compound Media because you were permanently suspended in Freedom of Speech Network. Say whatever you want. I don't want the restraints of terrestrial radio. No, I'm Anthony Cumia. I'm opinionated. I got things to say. That's why I launched my own network. I'm not letting the terrestrial radio and the FCC keep me down anymore. Those days are over. But yet, you're back on terrestrial radio. The confines of terrestrial radio, the restraints of terrestrial radio and the FCC. Playing it safe. So, if you're going to do that, why don't you just do it on YouTube as well? Okay, let's just say combine your AM radio show and YouTube. Radio shows are doing it all the time. Because that's where we're going. That's what's happening. Radio is dying off. I'm sorry, E-Rock, it is. It is. Any car you get, any rental, I'm telling you, any car being built right now, there's no AM radio. It's not happening. But the problem is Anthony is an old school guy. He's an old school guy. You know, he still watches Kojak. And you heard the segment on the show yesterday. Back in my day, we had Clark Gable. Those were our movie stars. Now it's Machine Gun Kelly. Who are these people? And he's trying to say, now they have these YouTube and these super chat shows. And it's just like, what is this? We had terrestrial radio. And he started naming radio guys off. He grew up with that. He was a fan of that. He wanted to be that. He became that. But that was then. Things evolve. Things change. This is a different era. We're in a different time. We're in a different place. And this is just what it is. Listen, I'm a 90s kid. I love the music then. I love the movies. I love it all. I love back in my day. Of course. Name a rock band that came out in 2024. You can't. We all love back in the day. We all have great memories of things that mean something to us. I was talking about 90s pro wrestling yesterday, WCW. It was great. I don't watch wrestling anymore. I don't know who the fuck. I know Cody Rhodes is the champion. I know that. And The Rock's back and he owns. But it's not the same as it used to be. Pop culture, music, movie, everything's different. It just is. Including podcasting and radio. It's different. You are taking a step backwards. You just are. And if Anthony just continued to do YouTube, and if he's going to be in line with the FCC and the rules of terrestrial radio, why not just do it on YouTube? But your argument was, you can't hold me down. I'm Anthony Cumia. You can't tell me what free speech network. But now you're restricted again with the FCC. You can't say whatever the hell you want. You can't. And the reason why you weren't on YouTube, because you didn't want to get your deplatformed. Well, just do what you're doing right now on YouTube. Literally do what you're doing right now on YouTube. You'll have more of a reach on YouTube than you will AM radio. That is a fact, Jack. And you might even get a younger audience. You might inspire an 18-year-old going, who's this Anthony Cumia? I don't know anything about him. I like his takes. He's not tuning into AM radio. He's just not. I'm sorry. I know people get mad. I know the people celebrating Anthony's comeback right now. And this would have been a big deal if it was 15 years ago. Huge. Going back to New York radio. But it's not that anymore. It's changed. The landscape has changed. It's just what it is, man. It is what it is. But if Anthony would have continued doing a YouTube show, just like he's doing a radio show, just like he's doing a Compound Uncensored behind a paywall, he could be huge like Steven Crowder was on YouTube. Steven Crowder was fucking huge, building his platform on YouTube. He became a right-wing talking head, which Anthony's trying to be, going backwards in terrestrial radio. And I'm being as fair as possible, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just calling it like I see it. And what is Anthony getting paid? Let's just say, I don't know his deal. Let's just say he's getting $500 an episode. I don't know. I can't imagine it's a lot. After I got fired from Cleveland, WMMS in Cleveland, I was with 87.7 Cleveland Sound for a year doing Sunday nights, much like Anthony. Sundays with Chad Zumock or whatever the fuck it was called. Look it up. Look at my Wikipedia that got deleted. Can I get my Wikipedia back, anybody? Can anybody help me, please? Anyways, had it for 15 years and they decided to buy. I was getting paid $200 an episode in Cleveland. I mean, you're in New York. I'm assuming it's, okay, let's just say $1,000. And you might not be getting paid anything at this point. Because you still got to get sponsors and who knows what the audience is going to do with that. And it is what it is. I'm saying if you had your platform on YouTube and you continued to build your YouTube show, like I said, somebody said you made over $4,000 doing your stream, your one-time stream, $4,000. But imagine if you were consistent with that every single day, Monday through Friday. We'll say you're doing it 4 to 6, 2-hour show every day. I do an hour and a half show and I'm out. And you're making $4,000, $3,000, and you're building your platform, your subscribers, and you're playing by the YouTube rules, much like the FCC rules. I'm just saying. There's more people listening to YouTube than there are. I'll challenge anyone on this. I've watched it from afar. I know radio guys. I talk to them. It's just not what it is. I mean, what it was. Satellite radio might go away when Stern leaves. As much as people hate Stern and he's not what he used to be, because nobody's going to replace him. It just, it's a dying. They got terrestrial radio guys over there running it to the ground, giving large contracts to Jason Bateman and Caller Daddy. So where we're headed in this world, it's not going backwards. It's just not. It'll be there. It's always there. That's like bragging if I got a job as a VCR repairman at this point.